Right, very good morning. Now, yes, Newcastle did get beat yesterday. They did. That's why I went for a cheeky 1-0 away win. But it didn't happen. And here's the thing for you, right? And I'm going to show you something in a moment, which is going to perfectly summarise. Because there's been a lot of talk. Now, there was a hat-trick in the first half yesterday by one of, I believe it's a new player at Manchester City, and I've seen a lot of different channels. Alan Pearson, Matty Renton of Magpie Channel TV, etc., talking about the game yesterday, and not in a good, positive way. However, what we have to understand is this: it's one game. Yeah? We went up against the champions. Now, because they were the champions, it's going to be a hard game. Yeah? Now, because of that, it could have been a cricket score second half. However, one goal in the second half. That shows that we did something better in the second half than we did in the first half. So we move on to the next game. That is the Premier League. And if you keep saying at the end of the day, like, oh, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that, why are you a supporter? Yeah? And I'm going to show you something in a second. And it's on the computer. I was reading it today, and I totally agree with its author. Because people tend to forget where we came from. You see, it's a different ownership. And yes, we have had issues. Damn right we have had issues. But here's the thing. The issues that Newcastle United have had, i.e. when we've came round to transfer windows, that's about to go and be resigned to history. So anyway, 1 second. Right. Now, okay, so we're going to look at the mag. There we have it. The mag, the independent voice of Newcastle United since 1988. Now, as we scroll down, that's Wembley when we faced Manchester United. And it looks beautiful. It really does. But let's have a look at this. If that's the way you feel, just hand in your Carabao Cup final tickets here. And this is to you as well, you out there in YouTube world. And I'll tell you why. Right? A lot of you criticise You're full of criticism at every turn. Now, when your team players are second best in any match, it is only fair and reasonable supporters can criticise the team, the manager, etc., etc. Yes, you pay your money, you can criticise. That is correct. What isn't acceptable, and I'll highlight it there. Yeah? What isn't acceptable, at least for the author, is this: when things are taken too far. So, let's click back off that so it's back to its normal self. Now, over the top criticism, abuse of those who support when representing our football club, where there is no perspective and no balance. Just in case you hadn't heard, Saturday afternoon ended Manchester City 4, Newcastle 0. Now, here's the thing for you, right? Now, I'll highlight it. So, when I'm talking about Newcastle United fans handing in their Carabao Cup final tickets, I'm not meaning somebody who says this player didn't perform or do better or should have done this or that instead. Instead, I am meaning those Newcastle United supporters who are slaughtering. And yes, there are some of you in YouTube world who do that. You slaughter because you don't care. The manager, useless. Or that player, pathetic. Or the very worst for the author, when people start claiming Newcastle United players aren't trying. Totally unacceptable in my opinion. Now you can read it, it's all there, it's highlighted. Yeah? This is my point. This has been my point for a long, long time. Now, I've reposted that to Facebook, and what I want to say to you is this: I'm not perfect. I give you out there in YouTube world, I give you what I think. Doesn't mean to say I will be spot on. No. Don't work that way. What I'm saying to you is this, right? I said a cheeky 1-0 because Manchester City have more stars in their team than 11 players. They have Team A, Team B, and they probably have Team C. We all know this, yet a lot of people whinge on and criticise because they got nought better to do. Which is crazy. It's insane. And I'll tell you why. Like when I sing about Newcastle United, I do that because I'm a passionate supporter. Any team is going to have a bad day. It's the days in between those bad days. Now go back to before I did 7 Days of Thunder. Newcastle had picked up points. Newcastle had won games and drawn games. Correct? Now, 7 Days of Thunder song comes out and Newcastle go on another run. But that still is not good enough for you. So that, like you just read in the mag, which is online, he is saying, what more do you want? Did you expect yesterday Newcastle United to go to Manchester City, to the Etihad Stadium, which I've never been to, ever? Why? Because when I was going to away games in my younger days, the stadium did not exist. Manchester City played at Main Road. What is Main Road today? God only knows. So, what I'm saying to you is this, yeah? I have the skin of an armadillo. So most of the stuff that you just say to me goes bounce straight off. I don't care. I don't care because I keep putting videos to you, wonderful and beautiful people. There is the odd person out of the lot of yous who criticises, who rips in and tears into. But you know what? That's one person. Or two. Or three. It's not tens of thousands. And that's my whole point. You see, when I saw that from the mag, I thought, brilliant, I'm going to repost it and put it, it's already on my Facebook, and because I own 23 pages on Facebook, I'm just going to share it to each and other different one, so that the people from those different pages will read it, will understand, and I'll be putting this video, which you're watching right now, on there too. Now, I try. Doesn't always work though, but I still try. And like my nana said to us when I was growing up, it's better to try than not. So, the hope is our club, Newcastle United, are in one final so far. But we have to face Brighton and Hove Albion in the FA Cup round 5. So that is a possibility of 2. Yeah, 1, 2 finals. And if that isn't good enough, maybe you who are watching this, maybe it's you who's the problem. Because, you see, I can't get to Wembley. No, I can't. But here's the thing. In here, that is where it matters. Like years and years ago, right? When the takeover was rubber stamped. Nephew turned round and says, can we go up? We couldn't. There wasn't any way we could go up. Even though half of me wanted to say, throw caution to the wind and just boom, go up and celebrate with all the fans. I couldn't do it. Same as this trip to Wembley. When we played Manchester United at Wembley in the Carabao Cup, we couldn't get tickets because we only have a membership. We're not season ticket holders. And that's a problem, you see. Problems are going to get fixed. Now, still related to Newcastle United, I'm going to do 11 pictures. Those 11 pictures are going to be digital art. And I'm going to post them to various different places. And what I'm going to do when the funds come back in, I'm going to put them into an account. And I ain't going to touch that account. Because what I'm going to do is this. A lot of you are going to turn around and say, oh, you can't do that, and you can't do this, and you can't do the other. Well, here's the thing. The funds which come in from those digital arts, that is to show Peter Silverstone at Newcastle United made money off that. I haven't spent the money, but I've made money. Now, if I can do that as a fan, you're a director, correct? Why haven't you done that? You see, things are starting to get better for our club because of who we played yesterday, taking the Premier League to court. And I want Newcastle United to do awesome, to get in new players. Now we have the opportunity. Now we have the opportunity of training ground sponsors, kit sponsors, you name it. We now have the keys to that doorway. So, getting back to yesterday's game, somebody was on about this. The Etihad is bigger than St James's Park. Okay, it's bigger. I didn't know that. Never been there. So how could I know that? But I'll tell you this much. By the time our season's finished, fingers crossed, Newcastle United has 2 cups. But we got to work hard to get both. They're not going to be given to us. You've got to work for it. Like we've done all season. We've worked to get to Wembley. So, the hope is you like the songs I have written and performed. They're not the best. They never were. That's just my passion as a Geordie. And doesn't matter where I go in the world, I was still born and raised in Benwell. And I'll never ever forget that. Thanks for watching. And the hope is the subscribers climbs. The hope is between now and my birthday, I get through my course. I understand coding. And the hope is that the businesses, because they are, get launched. Then I can go with the money from the businesses and I can request a box at St James's Park. So, thanks for watching.